So, and the applied geology class can be subdivided in different topics, and we will start with the copper and the gold ore deposits. So last year I started actually with an introduction in mineralogy and petrology, but due to the fact that I have done this last semester in ES301, we must not do this again. Yeah? So, and the class contains or consists of different PowerPoint presentations. And I have also written down everything. So that means everything what I'm talking here or telling you here, you will then also find in different chapters. Yeah? Here, for example, chapter 1, I have a Word file from chapter 1. So these are then just general aspects and so on, and I will upload this then on Moodle. So, and here we have the general aspects of chapter 1. From March 2019. That is just the PDF from this Word file. Then it is this one. So, and here I have all the figures. So if we are talking now about granitic ore deposits, yeah, we can have ore deposits which are related to granitic rocks, and we can have ore deposits which are related to basaltic rocks. Yeah, most of them, you know this by now. By now, most of them are inchless rocks. Yeah, so and then we can have ore deposits which are related to sedimentary rocks, and we can have ore deposits, and those ore deposits are more seldom, which can be related to metamorphic rocks. So, and if we are talking about ore deposits which are associated with granitic rocks, then we know by now that granitic rocks are intrusivas. Yeah? Such a granite comes not up to the Earth's surface. Such a granite becomes somewhere stuck below the Earth's surface. You know this by now, yeah? So, and therefore we can subdivide. We have shallow intrusivas and we have deep intrusions. So if we are talking about shallow intrusivas, these are intrusivas, or this is a melt which becomes stuck close to the Earth's surface. So, and then we have deep intrusions, and these are intrusions which are formed at pressures higher than 5 kilobars. So if you are making it as a sketch map with a working pen maybe. So here we have a house, yeah, then we know that we are at the Earth's surface. So, and here for example we have then a shallow intrusion, yeah, If I'm making here these crosses, that means we are running here on the granite, because these crosses are the typical signature for granites, yeah? So, and then we have here a more deep intrusion, which becomes stacked at least at 15 kilometers below the Earth's surface. So, and such shallow intrusions, they have formed by a relatively hot melt. So, because this melt must make the way to the Earth's surface or close to the Earth's surface, therefore we need a hot melt, because more cool melt will become stacked much below the Earth's surface. So, and then we have in such a relative hot melt, we have a low fluid concentration and less Si2. So, and now the related ore deposits, these are porphyries. And if we are talking about the porphyry and the granitic melt, which becomes the stacked close to the Earth's surface, then we are looking for ore deposits which we can find here in Fiji, and which ore deposits we can now find here in Fiji. That is gold and copper and telluride you can find, and some silver. So these are the typical formations or geotectonic setting close to the Earth's surface for such porphyry copper ore deposits. So when they have done a lot of copper ore exploration here close to Nandi, but unfortunately they were not or have not been successful. But here in the north of Vitilevu, they are doing the gold exploration, and they are thinking that there are more gold ore deposits all around. So then we have these deep intrusions. They are relatively cool. Therefore, the melt becomes stacked more deep in the Earth's crust. They are very rich in volatiles. So I mean that goes together. So if you have a hot melt, then this melt is more poor in volatiles. Whereas if you have a cool melt, then this melt has a higher fluid concentration. So and if we are talking about a higher fluid concentration, that means then water and CO2. So and such melts, which are relatively cool, they are SiO2 rich. So you know this from our introduction in petrology as well, that SiO2 rich melts formed at lower temperatures compared to more mafic or basaltic melts. So at such intrusions, they are called gramophile ore deposits. So and these ore deposits, these gramophile ore deposits are called or so-called rhizons. So in these rhizons, these are rocks which are formed due to the reaction of a former granite with the country rocks with magmatic fluids. So how does this work? Here we have our deep intrusion, this deep intrusion has maybe, or is maybe 750 degrees Celsius hot. So, and then this deep intrusion is intruding in a country rock. So, and that is then the so-called country rock, yeah? So, and then we are forming here a so-called Kreisen with the country rock. So, and that is this here, yeah? So, and that is the so-called conduct metamorphic zone, yeah? So that means you have this cold country rock here, and this cold country rock becomes heated up due to the intrusion of a magma or melt. So, and then this country rock becomes heated up, as I just told you. And another thing happens as well, because while you are cooling down your melt here, then fluid becomes released from your melt. So there is fluid coming out, yeah? Release of fluid. So, and this fluid can transport certain elements, yeah? So, and you know there are elements which are more mobile, and you know there are elements which are less mobile. So, and if you are looking or checking your periodic table, then you can see on the more on the left side, there are those elements which are more mobile, and then there are other elements, these heavy elements like uranium, thorium and so on, and they are less mobile, yeah? So, and so, such elements which are more mobile will become or will be released by the magma chamber or by the melt at the beginning, and those elements which are less mobile, like uranium and so on, they will become enriched here in the residual melt. So, and that is actually how such a magma chamber works, and we will do this again and again and again. So, and now we have certain elements which are enriched in such a zone, yeah? So, and these are elements like fluorine, tin, bore, beryllium, lithium and silica. So, and therefore, while you are these elements becoming removed from the crystallizing melt at the beginning, you are forming then certain minerals. For example, you are forming a mineral topaz or beryl, then you have quartz, muscovite, you have lithium. Lithium is very important for your cell phones. You have also some mica, fluorite, tinstone, and you will never find feldspar and biotite. So in these granophene elements becoming then enriched in a granitic melt, and they are forming then the associated ore deposits. So and we are calling these elements the swamp elements. So in these swamp elements, that is the tin, wollastonite, uranium and molybdenum. So in these swamp elements, they are relatively big bubbles, that means heavy atoms, and they have a high electron charge. So and then we have the other counterpart. These are the so-called bedlip elements. So in these bedlip elements, or these swamp elements, yeah, these are the swamp, and then we have the bedlip elements, that is beryllium, boron, lithium and phosphor. So and they are associated with anions like CO3, chlorine and fluorine. So these swamp elements are of high ecological importance because they are associated with elements like niob, bismuth and tantal. So whereas the bedlip elements, they can be partly of importance for the beryllium and lithium exploration, and they are also associated with cesium, rubidium and the rare earth elements. So the anions, they are forming complexes with the metals, and therefore they are solution of the melt and strongly controlled by the fluid, while the bedlip elements control under which conditions a melt is forming and differentiating. We will do this also later. So what you should have for now in mind, you have there these different elements, and then it depends on the size of the bubbles. If they are heavy and small, heavy and big bubbles, they will become transported very or much more slower, and they will become then enriched here in the residual melt, whereas the more the light elements with a low electron charge, they will become removed from the melt, and they are forming the ore deposits in such rises. So if we are talking about the genesis of a granitoid melt, then there is nothing so important in such a crystallization of such a melt as fluids. So because the fluid is always the transport medium, yeah? So without fluid you can do nothing. So and the fact that we cannot find any free water in the lower crust, that means that such a granite rock has been a melt before. So and the fluid is within this melt. So and such a granitoid rock becomes the molten because of the breakdown of hydrous minerals. So if we are talking about a granitic melt and hydrous minerals, then the most common hydrous mineral in such a granitic melt is the biotite. Yeah? So in the breakdown of these hydrous minerals that is necessary to get the water to create the melt. So when we have there three major consequences, if the concentration in the melt would be, the water concentration in the melt would be highest, then the water derived from the breakdown of minerals like muscovite. You know what the muscovite is? That is this deoctahedral silver shiny bicarb. I showed you this last semester. So in such a melt, which is formed by the breakdown of minerals like muscovite, has then more water inside, as for example a melt which was caused or formed by the breakdown of other hydrous minerals like amphiboles. So then we have number two. If we have higher melt grades, that means our melt is more hot, then that would lead to the formation of a more dry melt and to low SiO2 concentration, as you can see it here. That this melt can rise up close to the Earth's surface, it must have a higher melt grade, and therefore it must be more hot. Because if it is not that hot, then it becomes stuck somewhere below. Yeah? So because such a melt becomes then always stuck if the density contrast is zero. That means if your melt has nearly the same density as the surrounding country blocks, yeah, then it becomes stuck because there is then the driving force for it. So if your melt is more hot, then it has also a lower density. Yeah? Therefore, it can rise up more close to the Earth's surface. So, and if the melt has then a lower SiO2 concentration, that leads also to a melt which has a lower viscosity, yeah? And a lower density. So in such dry and hot melts would rise up more close to the Earth's surface because they reach the solidus, whereas a muscovite bearing melt are formed in a depth of more than 50 kilometers, which corresponds to a pressure of about 5 kilobars. Is this so far clear? Such a melt which becomes stuck more down below the Earth's surface has higher SiO2 concentration, whereas this melt here has a lower SiO2 concentration. This melt here is more hot. This melt here is less hot. If we have a melt which is less hot, then we have a higher fluid concentration. Whereas here, if we have a melt which is more hot, then we have a lower fluid concentration. So and if this melt is a lower SiO2 which is more hot, then we have here a lower density. Whereas here we have a higher density. So, but here we have then also a higher viscosity. And here we have a lower viscosity. So did you get this relationship? So you can describe it physically just by using the formula rho, that is the density is mass divided by the volume. So, and these observations are in good agreement with those for leucogranites. So, and these leucogranites, they contain the SWAM ore deposits. So, these are these heavy elements. So, and these can be then found in middle to high-grade metamorphic terrains. So, whereas biotite and hornblende-bearing granites are associated with porphyry ore deposits. So there we have the next general aspect. If we are talking about the porphyry ore deposit, then we are talking about what kind of ore deposit? Typically, porphyry ore deposit, that is a porphyry copper. Yeah? Copper ore deposit. So, but while we are going to the field and doing some exploration work, and we are not running around and looking now for native copper or native gold. Because the problem is the concentration of copper or gold in such a ore deposit is very low. Yeah? So, and if you are going there to Mount Akola and then you can go down 400 meters, it is very hot and very uncomfortable there, so it's better to sit here in the classroom. You are not getting that much money by sitting in the classroom, but it is more nice as sitting here down below the earth's surface in such a cold air water deposit. But anyway, you are working for such a gold mine or copper mine, and you are there with the exploration geologist, and then you should find some gold, yeah? So then you are not running around and looking for native gold, because then you can run around till you become 75 years old and gray. So you are looking at first for certain rock types. So, and if you are looking here, such a porphyry ore deposit is related to granites which contain biotite and hornblende. Yeah? And the hornblende, you know by now, that is the amphibole. Yeah? Whereas if you are looking for such a SWAM ore deposit, then you are looking for a leucogranite. Yeah? And to identify a granite in the field is not very complicated. You know by yourself from last year and from ES301, how a granite or a tonalite looks like. Yeah? So that means you are looking always for the associated host rock. So, and then the next thing is, you are also looking for the geotectonic setting, yeah? Because in such a deep intrusion, you will form different ore deposits from those from such a shallow intrusion, yeah? You will also form different ore deposits if your host rock or the parental magma has a lower silica concentration compared to a magma which has a higher silica concentration. Yeah? So your ore deposit from a melt which was formed at high grade, that means a hot melt, the ore deposit or the ore minerals are different from those formed from a melt which was formed at lower temperatures. And these is all valid for those points. So what are now the controlling factors of the formation of an ore deposit? So I mean, I have actually everything is written here in this sketch map, yeah? So the most important factor is if an element can be enriched or not. So you have here this magma chamber. So when this magma chamber is crystallizing, that is because it is cooling down, yeah? And it is crystallizing from rim to the core, yeah? Because at the rim it becomes cooled down from the surrounding country rocks, yeah? So and then these rocks or these granites, which are formed here in the water zone, they are more fine-grained, yeah? Because it cools down more fast. So whereas the granite which formed here in the center is more coarse-grained because it cooled down more slowly, yeah? So, and then you have all these incompatible elements inside. So, if you are cooling down such a magma chamber, then in the center you have your residual melt, yeah? So, and this residual melt becomes then more and more enriched in volatiles, yeah? So, because at the rim you are cooling your magma chamber much more faster down, yeah? So, and that is at higher temperatures, yeah? So, therefore, you have less volatiles. So, in these volatiles, they are in such a granitic melt incompatible, yeah? So, they are incompatible. That means they are not going very early in minerals which become crystallized, yeah? Because at first, at the beginning, while you are forming such a magma chamber, while you are crystallizing such a magma chamber, At the beginning, you are forming water-free minerals, yeah? So, and if we are talking about the granite, what are the water-free minerals in such a granite? This is quartz, then you have pleasure clays and clay clays, yeah? So, in all these minerals, you do not have any water inside. That means in case of a granitic belt, yeah, only in case of a granitic belt, you are forming the quartz, then you are forming anorthite, I make the shortcut AN, then you are forming the albite, and you are forming the K-feldspar. So that means these minerals you are removing from the melt, yeah? So and then you are removing from the melt silica, you are removing calcium, aluminium, sodium, aluminium, potassium and aluminium, yeah? So and all the other elements which you are not removing becoming here enriched in the residual melt, yeah? Like the copper and the gold, yeah? Because there is no copper inside, there is no gold inside. And the uranium and all these mineral elements you are becoming enriched here in the residual melt. So and together with these elements, you are also enriching, or hydrogen becomes then also enriched in the residual melt. Yes, and with the hydrogen you are making water, yeah? So and now you have this residual melt with your copper and gold inside. So, and due to the fact that you have here such a melt which is very rich in volatiles, that causes that these volatiles would like to become removed, yeah? So when they are just shooting out. So and then they are forming veinlets in the surrounding country rocks, yeah? So in these veinlets, they are not that big. They have maybe 10 centimeters in diameter. So and if you are going more far away from your intrusion, then the veinlets become even smaller, yeah? They can just be in centimeter scale, yeah? Millimeter scale. So in these veinlets, you can then mine your gold and your copper. So that's just very roughly and very briefly. We will go then more in detail, yeah? So here I have just written it, elements like copper, yeah? Which can be found in minerals like malachite and azurite. So we have native copper, yeah, like native gold. So and we can find copper in some minerals, yeah. So when there are two typical minerals, that is the malachite and the azurite. And maybe you have seen in the past a malachite or an azurite. He should just show you once in the practical, yeah? So, So and these minerals like malachite and azurite also can be found in the fluids and the melts. So they are found and you can find them there in these veinlets. Yeah? So if you are going to the Mount Akola mine, the thing is I cannot go there anymore. You see guys, I really can't go there. But the problem is I can only bring maybe 10 people down to the shaft. Yeah? Because they do not allow this for security reasons and it is actually not that exciting. But I have a lot of pictures which shows you how such veinlets look like. Then they are mining down here and then they are running along these veinlets, maybe 1 centimeter wide or 10 centimeter wide, and there they mining then the gold and the copper and the tellur and the silver. So, but if you are looking for elements like molybdenite, yeah, molybdenite is together with graphite the most softest element, which can be also a native mineral, but such a molybdenite is not formed in the presence of fluids and melts. Such molybdenites are always occur with sulfides. So in the sulfides, these are also a group of minerals which you can identify easily. So if you are looking for ore minerals, then you are looking always for minerals which occur in a higher concentration. Because it is easier to identify them. So yeah, and here we have now, yeah. So and that means, as I told you, these elements has to be mobilized, yeah. So that means at first you have to enrich them here, for example, in a residual melt. So and while you are enriching them, then you are getting locally a higher concentration. So and the next thing is, I mean, if they are sitting in 15 kilometer step in such a residual melt, then they are useless for us, yeah? Because we cannot go in the depth of 15 kilometers, yeah? That means the next thing is, first you have to enrich these elements, and the second thing is you have to mobilize them. So and that depends on the fluid as well, yeah? You need a high fluid concentration in your residual melt, because the fluid is the transport media. So, and the fluid shoots then through your country rocks and forms then such veinlets, or we are calling them also hepatites. So, and there you can then mine them. So, and therefore we have then elements which become then distributed in the fluid, and that is like chlorine, bismuth, tellur, and gold. Yeah? So these are elements which become then distributed in the fluid. At first they have to be enriched in a residual melt, therefore you need fluid. Then you need to mobilize them, that they have to transport it in such hydrothermal ways. Yeah? Such a pegmatite, as I told you just before, depends or belongs to the hydrothermal system. So in the hydrothermal system, we will then just continue on Friday with the hydrothermal system. So, but these are now just some general aspects here for such gold or copper. So whereas elements like fluorine, bore, beryllium, and tin are mainly distributed in the melt with a high differentiated granite. So we have here elements which are enriched in the melt, and we have elements which became at first enriched in the residual melt. Afterwards they become mobilized, and you can find them in such hydrothermal veins, like I have shown here. And on Friday I have then more pictures for PowerPoints. Yeah? And for today we are now done. So I will upload this chapter 1 PowerPoint for you, and also the stuff what I have written here, as well as the movie.